And Georgia voters also cast their ballot for several other key races. The results for lieutenant governor leading to another runoff. Democratic candidates Josh McLaurin and Nabila Parks are the final two. On the Republican side, the Associated Press projects former Georgia State Senator John F. Kennedy and current State Senator Greg Dolezal are also headed for a runoff next month. Georgia's newest congressman will defend his seat again in November. Clay Fuller winning in a landslide for Georgia's 14th District Republican primary. Fuller is currently finishing the term of former Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene. Fuller will go up against Sean Harris, the only candidate on the Democratic side of the ballot. He lost to Fuller in last month's special general election by roughly 15,000 votes.
And the race for Secretary of State was another big one that we were watching in this year's election cycle. Democrats Penny Reynolds and Dana Barrett are headed for a runoff next month. Republicans are in the same boat. Tim Fleming and Vernon Jones also going to face off next month to see who is on the ballot this November. The party is looking to fill that role that Republican Brad Raffensperger has held since 2019. Meanwhile, 3 Republican candidates are suing Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
They argue Georgia's election night reporting should be done in public and state election board members should have access. The lawsuit spotlights how results get reported. The state says counties count the ballots and the Secretary of State's office only posts the numbers as they come in. The challengers say the public and election board members should be able to watch more closely.
In regards to the court order, when the judge received a complete picture of the facts, he verbally rescinded the temporary restraining order.
Well, the broader court fight isn't over. A May 28th hearing is still scheduled.
And we have a full list of last night's results that you can find online on our website, AtlantaNewsFirst.com. All you have to do is scan this QR code that you see here on your screen. It'll take you there. And just a reminder for you, all of those results will continue to scroll on the bottom of your screen.